Welcome to another episode of Leaders of Transformation. I'm really excited to bring to you a good friend of mine, Jason Everett, who is, hey Jason, how you doing?
Hey Nicole, good to see you, and thanks for having me on today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Jason is the founder of businessrefuel.com, and he is an expert in the area of business and in entrepreneurship. But specifically today, what we're going to talk about is Facebook marketing. How many of you have wanted to figure out how to be more effective, get more your online presence more effective and powerful, and attract more leads into your business through Facebook? Yes? Maybe you want that?
Everybody.
Well, yeah, exactly. Who doesn't? And so we're going to talk about that here today. We're going to do it in rapid fire style because we've only got a few minutes here, because Jason and I we hung out, honestly, for a while.
We hung out for a while, but we caught up. It was good. And so now I've only got a quick few minutes, but we'll get a lot of meat covered, I have no doubt. We will, and it's going to be fun. So strap in and let's go. But actually, before I do that, just for those of you who want to know a little bit more background on who Jason is, because we're going to dive right into it, you can go to episode number 36, because Jason is a returning guest on the Leaders of Transformation, and his last interview that we did was fantastic. You're going to hear it on Energy on Demand, which he has a little bit of energy, so you'll get that here today. So let's dive right in, because we don't have a whole lot of time, and we'll make it most effective here. So Jason, how do you grow your exposure using Facebook? Such a loaded question. So there's a million things. First of all, I just want to say thanks for having me back. Like, it's so nice to be back twice. I always love that. That's pretty cool. So thank you for letting me be a returning guest. But so how do you grow your exposure on Facebook? It kind of depends on what level you're at right now. Because there's people I like to equate it to. Like, do you ski, Nicole? I don't know if you ski, snowboarding.
No skiing.
Okay. Well, you've seen snow before though, yeah?
Yeah.
You've heard of it?
I've heard of snow.
I know Canadian. You're in Southern California right now. So
I'm Canadian.
Canadian in you has got that snow in your DNA, yeah?
Yes.
So anyway, so if you think of it in terms of snow, and I love skiing and snowboarding. So like, if you think of it in terms of like a mountain, there's like the green runs, the green circle runs, the blue squares, and then the black diamond, and like the double black diamond. And I like to talk about them in terms of kind of like where you are at the moment. So green, like beginner, is like, you got to know that you have to have a Facebook page. You have to have a business page, not a personal page. There's things like that you got to know at the beginning stages. And really in the beginning stage, hope it's okay if I just fill these out, is that you want to make sure that you have completed profiles. So whether you're using Facebook or LinkedIn or any other medium, you've just got to make sure that they're complete. LinkedIn used to have this thing where it said, oh, you're 60% complete, 100% complete. Facebook is the same, it just doesn't tell you your percentage, right? So if you don't have a business page, if you're not posting regularly, if you're not doing those kind of things, then you're in the beginner stage on Facebook, okay? Now, if I move into the blue square, or the blue rectangle or square I'm talking about, there's a kind of a different level, and hopefully you can go back and ask me questions on these, is that the blue square level or intermediate level on Facebook is what I call your Facebook social media cycle. So your social media cycle is basically where you post things on a regular basis. Like every Thursday at 3 p.m. you post a quote, or every Friday at 2 you post a funny cat video, or whatever it's going to be. It should be appropriate for your business. You might do certain levels of ask versus certain levels of give, things like that. And you have a structure and a schedule and a flow where people get used to seeing you. Like, I post a video on my Facebook that I do, like a recorded video, and I post it every Thursday at 1 p.m. It's like a pattern and a habit. Think of it like a workout calendar. Is you do legs on Monday and you work out your abs on Tuesday. You have a schedule. So that's kind of intermediate status Facebook. You go into like advanced status Facebook. That's where I said, depending on where you're at, you might need to take notes differently. Is that advanced status is when you actually are using Facebook ads. And you can't get to Facebook ads unless you're doing the beginner stuff, unless you're doing the intermediate stuff. Then you go to Facebook ads. Because so many people call me and they go, Jason, I want to do Facebook ads, but they don't even have a Facebook page set up yet. Don't start with ads. That's the wrong way to go. But once you have all those things in place, now we can go down the really advanced runs, and that's where, by the way, all the money is made. People are trying to make money back at the beginner stage. Money is made at the advanced stage. You can take out money. You put, like my first real successful run, I put $8,000 into ads over the weekend, and I made $800 into ads over the weekend, and I made $8,000 back by Monday. that was a good day.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was like, okay, I got to figure this out. And I spent the last 2 years really taking and learning from all these leaders and masters of all this stuff about how to use Facebook ads to leverage my business. And then like there's advanced and like double black diamond and experts only and heli boarding. Like imagine all those things. That's kind of like the level of stuff I like to play in.
Right.
I mean, I can't help people even if they're just getting started. Does that help? I know it's super.
That's perfect. That's a great visual. And when I did ski, I was only on the green. I don't.
Yeah, that's okay. For some people, just having a presence, like I have a saying that says, you must be present to win.
Yes.
If you're not at least on Facebook, right?
That's right.
You can't even get those customers. And there was a statistic, I'm going to make up the statistics, I can't remember it offhand, but it was something like 5 out of every 6 businesses, something like that, will check you out on Facebook and online and usually Facebook, before they go into your company. And if you don't have a presence on Facebook, they're checking out nothing. It's like having a business but no furniture in it. That's crazy.
Right. Or they're going to somebody else's profile because they can't find yours, and then they're going off in some tangent somewhere else. And, and who was I going to forget it? Never mind.
Exactly. Done and done.
Yeah. So excellent. Thank you. So let's talk about, and I did actually write down a bunch of questions. So you mentioned about how often to post, and you mentioned about doing it. So there's one theory is you just like post like a lot of stuff and you're just like constantly pounding it. Some people say you don't post too much. And I know this comes in with video too, because if you post a lot of video, do people start to tune you out? What's your experience? Not theory, but what's your experience on that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Not in theory. I will tell you what my practice is. Okay, is that there's a really awesome tool, and maybe you know what this is, Nicole. There's a really awesome tool called Facebook Insights. Have you ever used that before? Okay, well, I wish I could screen share with you because it'd be one of these like it'd be amazing. But basically, you go into Facebook Insights. So you use something called Facebook Business Manager. We're talking in the intermediate. Yeah. You go into Facebook Business Manager, and when you look at your business page, you go and you click Facebook Insights.
Right.
And you scroll down, and there's an amazing tool. It's kind of hidden, almost buried. You wouldn't know it's there. When you scroll down to Insights, at the very bottom, there's a section that says Pages to Watch. And I have to kind of complicatedly answer this question, okay? Is that under Pages to Watch, what I recommend that you do is go and follow all of your competitors. You follow every single person that's out there, or people that you aspire, that you want to be more like. Like, for example, I love Richard Branson. I like Tony Robbins. Both of you and I know Blair. We know all these other people. Some of those guys have amazing social media. Others, not so much. I won't say who has what, but you can figure it out. Okay. So what I do is I log in and I look at the pages to watch that are most like mine that I aspire to be. And then I look at who's getting the greatest return on investment. So like you said, no theory. I just can literally look at it and say, okay, if I want to look at Gary Vaynerchuk's social media, how many times did he post this week? I can look that up. Facebook will tell me. Gary Vaynerchuk, I can probably pull it up right now, but it's like Gary Vaynerchuk might post 75 times this week, versus Tony Robbins might have only posted 25 times. Okay. Right. And what it will tell you, and this is the secret that I do because it's not on Facebook, is that I look at total audience size divided by the post engagements. And what that tells me is it tells me how many interactions they were able to get from their audience. So Gary Vaynerchuk, just as an example, a great example to follow if you're a business coach or trainer, you're trying to reach your audience. He's crushing it. He's doing amazing. But what he does is he usually gets 15 to 20% engagement of his Facebook audience. Okay. Versus somebody like Tony Robbins, who probably pays somebody who manages Facebook for him, might only get like 5% of engagement with his audience. Yeah. So I'm looking for page post engagement. So I know I haven't answered your question yet. I promise I'm getting there. No, it's good. What I do is I look at those my competitors and I see who's doing well and who's doing not so good, and I copy the strategies that are working well right now. Because by the time somebody watches this video, the strategy might be different. So if I said you need to post 10 times or 20 times or 80 times, look at your industry, see what the best players in your industry are doing, they're getting the greatest reach, and then copy those strategies. Now don't copy them exactly. This is not a game of like, copycat. But if you say they're posting 38 times and the best things that they're posting are funny cat videos, you got to examine and say, what's the humor that I need to be adding value in my business to my audience? Don't just also post funny cat videos. Does that make sense? Right, right. And it's also, when you talked about that, you're also talking about their ideal client, of who you want to reach, because some people are just not on Facebook. I mean, different markets are different. I mean, I know somebody who really targets coaches and start out coaches that are they're hanging out on Facebook, but then there's the business leader who's not on Facebook as much. So one of the best things I've heard, and this actually might have been Gary Vee. I honestly can't remember the source, so I feel bad not being able to credit it. But it was one of my favorite things I ever heard about Facebook that just was amazing. People often think that their fans follow them.
Right.
In reality, it's completely the other way around.
Right.
The best marketers on Facebook follow their fans better than anybody else. When you talk about creating an audience online, but the mistake most people make is they say, look at me, and you've heard this before because we've done training with Blair, but they say, look at me, and they're trying to be interesting rather than to be interested. And you kind of take that into this context and say, if you're more interested in getting to know the clients and customers who truly care about you and know, like, and trust you already, then you will be able to map out your social media in a way that gives back to them at a high degree. And there's a question that I want to answer that usually comes up. So people say, well, how much should I be asking versus how much should I be giving? That's kind of a question that comes up. I answer my own.
For that. Yes.
But what usually comes up is they ask, and what I just want to say is my experience, practical experience is that you should be giving 90 to 98% of the time on social media and only asking 2 to maybe max 10%.
Right.
Most people screw that up. And in fact, on my social media page, you will probably see 99% give. And the only time that I ask is when I place ads. I place ads and I ask. And even in my ads, I give things away in my ads so that the ask happens way after Facebook.
Right.
So, you're not, your job on social media is called social media. It's be social, be interacting, do deals later after you've made the introduction. Social media is for the introduction. It's not for the close. And most people screw that up as they're trying to close deals on Facebook.
That's good. That's good. Very good. And you mentioned something which you talked about the difference between them following you and you following them. So talk a little bit about, I know we've only got a few minutes here.
All right, we'll go for a little bit.
Yeah, talk about the web. You know how you talked about that spider web?
Yeah, totally. Let me see if I can grab my iPad.
30 seconds, Jason.
Say it again. I got to use
30 seconds, though.
I got to do some text. So when I talk about it's something I call the marketing web, and what's really important about the marketing web, at least in my experience, is that think of like a spider. A spider, and I'll bust this out real quick. Most people talk about this online. If I bust this out real quick, most people talk about a sales funnel, right? And there's processes and steps in sales funnels. I got step 1, you got step 2, you got step 3. Most of your audience, I imagine, talks about the sales funnel.
Right.
You say, okay, I'm going to reach people on Facebook, right? So you got people on Facebook, and then I'm going to make them an offer. I'm going to give them a bait piece, all these terms and that everybody talks about. Bait piece, conversion event, and then it leads to some money. Everybody talks about this. This is really kind of the thing that everybody talks about. What I talk about that's very different, this is my own concept, so it's not from anywhere else, is that if you think of Facebook as one vehicle or one tool or one resource, instead of it being one funnel, I like to think of it in terms of multiple funnels that all go towards the center. And so I'm going to show you my amazing rapid fire art skills here, is that if you think about this like a web, like a spider web, the idea behind a web is that the spider sets up the web in a place that it knows flies and bugs and things are going to be rolling through. And then you just set up your net so that as things fly through there, you catch it. Social media, in my mind, is the exact same way. So if you think, okay, I've got Facebook as one of those channels, then I also have LinkedIn as one of those channels. I also have Twitter, and I know I'm just sketching this out rough for you, but you got LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. You got all of these different resources that are helping you to build out your social media web. And like I said, you can be a beginner at LinkedIn and a beginner at Facebook. That's the outer ring. Then, as you have other pieces that you offer towards the center, the question becomes, how much more do you give to get people to come towards the middle? And what will happen is your clients and customers that are out there already on LinkedIn, already on Facebook, already on Twitter, are now going to come into your world so that you can actually use that as a way to capitalize on and actually get them across the line as become a client. So I hope that's what you were asking for and was helpful.
Well, yes, and that's excellent. And the funnel then comes later. Like you said, you're selling them later. It's great. Great visual. Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah, and so then the funnel comes later. It's bringing them all into that. And then they're educated. When they're in, they're also now educated on you. So by the time they actually you're having a conversation with them, they already know, like, and trust you. They've already built that rapport with you. You've already built that rapport with them, more importantly. And so that they actually want to do business with you. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say, this is probably a horrible analogy, so sorry. But think of it like dating. You're not trying to sleep with somebody maybe some horrible people are, but you're not trying to sleep with somebody on the first date. Let me be super clear. And everybody on social media is like trying to sleep with everybody on the first date. It's like, buy my thing, come in for this offer, sign up for my class, do all these things. And I'm on with you for a few minutes here. And if I just said, buy my $200,000 course, it'll make you all this money. I'd be like, yeah. But what if I just gave something away and I just was valuable? I know, right? No different than if and I'm not saying we should go on a date. I'm just saying, but like in this example of if two people were single, we'd go on a date and have dinner first. Like you should start with that. And gentlemen, they would buy somebody dinner. Like that's the idea. Is like, let me add some value. Let me give you some great conversation. Let me buy you dinner. Let's do that. See if this is a relationship. And take that and make it social. And then once you get more intimately involved in better conversations, deeper understanding, then do business with somebody. Stop trying to sleep with people on the first date. There you go. That's what we're going to call this. Stop sleeping with people on the first date. Title, webinar, or podcast done. Yeah, there you go. But it's true, because that's also the difference between a user and a customer or client, having that long-term relationship, to take that analogy of the one-night stand. And so, stop, and maybe that's what it should be, stop the one-night stands. But it really, that's what everybody does on social media. It drives me crazy. And then they're having to go find another one, and they're wondering why it's not working for them. So that's fantastic. Well, I'm going to put you on the spot, Jason, because you know what? We are almost out of time here, and we're going to have so much more to talk about. So we'll use this as maybe a little bit of a teaser for another episode, which we can do. And I know Jason is super, super busy, and he's doing all these awesome things, and we were talking about that beforehand, but Jason, I would love to have you back to dive into this a little further, talk about, how to create engagement, how to develop those ads, and some of the things, and even just talking between the difference between a page and a group and there's some, again, those are advanced strategies. They're all very possible and they're all very good, but to your point is there's a lot to cover. So if you like the content, you want to know more about it, I'm happy to come back. I don't know when that will be, but I can give some stuff away or whatever you need. And let's do that, because I know you mentioned that you have something which is like the 101 something. So tell us. 101 something. That's exactly what it's called. What it is it's 101 different Facebook post ideas. So remember when I said you post in a cycle? Obviously I need it because I can remember the title of it. Really good title, memorable. 101 different Facebook post ideas, because most people say, well, what should I post? Do I need to am I dumb if I post a bunch of food pictures? So what I did is I sat with my team and we said, what are the 101 best things you can post on social media? And it's things like, 360 videos and all these really cool things that are really fun to get people's attention. And you might find that the sheet is just kind of like a pick and choose menu. So if you're kind of out of ideas, you can just print it out. It's 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You print it out and it has 101 different ways that you can use social media to grow your business. And it just says, try this or try that or try this. And so you might find that the same 5 or 10 things you do over and over, but if you're bored and you're out of ideas, you can reference this sheet. So do you want me to give a URL? Go for it. So cool. All you have to do is go on to Business Refuel, REFUEL, businessrefuel.com/Facebook101. So businessrefuel.com/Facebook101, and you can download the PDF totally for free. Again, that's my way of getting to know people that are checking out this podcast. Let me just give you some cool stuff, and if you like it, let's hang out again. Let's start there. That's what I like to do. Fantastic. Jason, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it, man. It's just, even in that short little time, so many nuggets. And I've got tons of questions more, so we'll definitely have to schedule you back when you have time. I would love to do it. And Nicole, thank you for all the great things that you do here on this podcast, because I think so many people need this stuff, and the people who show up and listen to your podcast are clearly not only in the right place, but they're the right type of people because they're looking for the education. I know how much work it takes for you to coordinate all this, so thank you for doing what you do. There's so many people that get benefit of that. I just want to say thank you, because you may not get acknowledged enough for it. So. My pleasure. And you know what? Yeah, it is. I love the group that we work with here, because, and the listeners and the viewers, because these are the people that are not just in business to make money. It's about making a difference, right? And so, as leaders of transformation, the people that are creating transformation in the world, and to be able to give them the resources, to give them the tools to be able to do everything that they want to be able to do and make that greater difference in the world. That's what it's all about. So absolutely, and thank you. And you've certainly done that and supported that here today. So that's awesome. For those of you that are listening, I would highly encourage you to go check out what Jason is offering here, the free
Facebook 101 at businessrefuel.com/Facebook 101. And we will definitely have him on again on this podcast. I'm going to rope him back in to do this so we can give you some more tools and insights. But he also does Facebook marketing courses.
True.
And so I can say that you're just getting to know them, but I can say that, you know what, hey, go check out his courses because they're fantastic. He really does know what he's talking about. And it's not theory. It's not theory, if you were. You're looking for a great coach and you're looking for a great mentor. You want somebody who's got experience, not theory. And Jason certainly has it. So I would go check him out. And thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't already done so, I'd go to leadersoftransformation.com. We'll also have all the show notes, all the links on that website. And of course, all our past episodes are there and access to even Jason's last episode, which was episode number 36. And we've now got well over 100. So there's some awesome information there for you. And also find us on Facebook at Leaders of Transformation. Follow us, comment, tell us what you like, any questions you have, just bury us with a whole bunch of questions. I'll send them all to Jason to answer. But
perfect. I got plenty of time.
There you go. That's awesome. And then of course Twitter, which is Leaders Podcast, and love to hear from you. So, and find us on iTunes. If you like this, if you got some insights out of this, please go to iTunes and send us a rating and review because it helps us to increase our rating and to be able to reach a greater audience around the world. And we're in over 60 countries now, and so we want to expand that out and just really reach that in a much bigger way. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Leaders of Transformation real soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.